This time I'd like to call on Commissioner Mahler to give the invocation.
Well, we are so glad to have our DAV representatives here. I'm going to call on the commander to introduce the person that's going to give her invocation this morning.
It's our chaplain, Fector Sevilla, and our assistant pastor, David Zapata, and then lead us in prayer.
God, thank you for the men and women who serve the public in the manner that they do, Father God. We ask that you bless them and their families, Father God. Please remind them of why they have chosen, Father, to serve the community in the way that they do. Give them wisdom and courage, Father God, to seek your wisdom, Father God, with every decision they will make. Bless our mayor. Bless our wonderful city of Wichita Falls. This we ask in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Commander Jimenez, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge.
honor
United States flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. Take your seats, please. All righty. Thank you all very much. This time I'd like to ask if there are any public comments to be made. Anyone in the audience? All right. We're going to move into the consent agenda. I'd like Commander Jimenez to speak a little bit about item number 7 on a partnership we've had with the DAV for 18 years.
18 years, and Judge and constituents at the county. I'm proud of our county and the decisions that y'all and these men and women make up here. And one of them is the van that we have, that we transport 1 to 5 veterans daily. That daily, and me and Tommy has spoken about this. You know, when it comes this, it's just tremendous how much the veterans population now is growing after the war of 2003. Mark, you just retired. You know, the younger people, they're getting in to our VA system and so forth, but they need help, and some of it's transportation, and what y'all have decided, and this court and so forth, y'all have gave us that privilege with funds, with y'all's tremendous help, your networking, your trust in the DAV of Wichita Falls, North Texas. And you know, just like we don't even, our services include, like we're going to go right now as a team, just like y'all are a team, to carry the word to the constituents. Where we have a bereaved family, and we're going to go down there and help them know the right way on how to give a final resting to that veteran, and so forth. And once again, Sheriff Duke, you know, what tremendous work that you do with especially with the incarcerated veteran, you know, and so forth. We work, you know, with the permission of y'all. And with that, I can't say nothing. Thank y'all for just allowing us to take care of our veterans through y'all's knowledge and through y'all's trust to us. I appreciate it. I salute you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Do you want to read item number 7, Judge?
Go ahead, sir.
No, you're the judge.
Okay. Item number 7 is a motion to authorize county auditor and county treasurer to issue a check in the amount of $6,922.50 to the George Register, North Texas, Chapter 41, for a grant match for the purchase of a 2019 Ford 7-passenger van for transport of disabled veterans, to be paid by transfer from 100-409-5001 capital expenditures to the budget line assigned by the county auditor. He was supposed to throw in something about how he told you how many they transport a day. I can't even think about how many people have been transported over this time that would not have had the transportation or someone to take them to Oklahoma City, and that's the primary thing. We do have some additional services in Lawton now to help. Yes, Mr. Brewer?
If I may address the court.
Yes, sir.
Just want to let you know that DAV van travels almost 5 days a week to Oklahoma City, taking our veterans up to their appointments and back, something that a lot of them without this van, they wouldn't be able to get the medical care that they need. And you know, you can judge your community by how they treat their veterans. And Wichita County treats their veterans very well. Thank you for the good work that you do for us and take care of us.
You
Mark, we
know,
have some more work to do though, because just for instance, one of our vets went to the VA clinic here and he needed some x-rays. He had to drive all the way to Lawton to get x-rays. And I think that's ridiculous. We need to figure out what we can do to provide those services locally, so they don't have to drive to Lawton to get an x-ray. So this is something we need to work on.
that sounds like, because there's a limit on the mileage you have to drive, but you have to go through the delay to get the approval to use a local provider.
We need to
Now,
fix that.
Well, that's obvious, because you're sitting out there with Shepherd has x-ray equipment there in the old hospital that could do that. When we get the new clinic, if that ever seems to really gonna be happening, over there on I-44, I don't know whether, we don't know yet what they're gonna have in there and what services. But the veteran can go through the system, but it's probably easier to drive, and they do pay them mileage, they'll pay them for driving up there and back, pay their tolls.
Well, he had to take off work
Yeah,
to go and get an x-ray. And he was at the VA clinic, he said, I've got an x-ray right there, we just get our ducks in a row. So it's just
Well-
aggravating that they have to go through all these hoops just to get to Medicare, the medical care that
okay.
they need.
When they call out there and the VA approves a prescription for them, they have to drive out there, get the paper, and take it downstairs to get it filled in the pharmacy. They can't get it from the second floor to the first floor. Try that on.
Judge, it'd be my honor to make a motion to accept number 7.
Well, let's go ahead and take them all, okay?
Before we approve the consent agenda, I would like to discuss two items, item
Okay.
4 and item 15. Item 4 was passed last week. It was for the training mats for the sheriff's
Yeah,
office. This is to transfer that money from the LEC bond. They're actually going to be using those mats this year. Discussion with sheriff's office, they would like to keep it out of their training budget from last year, or from this year, instead of putting it on the LEC funds.
okay.
So I'd like to remove item 4. And then item 15 is
Like, you wanna remove item 4?
remove item 4.
Okay.
And just leave it as approved last week.
Okay,
And then item 15, this was a very unclear item to me when I put it on the agenda. We have a meeting scheduled for this afternoon with architects to discuss. I went ahead and left it on the agenda to allow us to go ahead and approve me signing the IOCC if necessary. I do not believe at this point that we will be signing an IOCC for that amount. But in the interest of expediency, we left it in.
do you want to leave it up to those amounts?
Yeah, just leave it up to those amounts. Like I said, I do not believe it will be necessary to go to those amounts. But just in the interest of expediency, I left it on the agenda.
Okay, so we'll take that modification. Anything else on the consent agenda? All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Waller. Do we have a second?
Second.
My motion reflects those changes.
Yes, sir.
Judge.
Okay, thank you. All right, any comments, anyone in the audience on the consent agenda? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 1 is to review and approve the regular bills for payment.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Harvey. Any comment or question on any of the bills? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 2 is open and take action necessary on the lease bids. This was for the county-owned property that was, and we have received none. Okay.
Willie, is that on our deal we put in there? Okay. But can we extend that for 1 week?
I don't think you can.
No.
Re-advertising.
Can we re-advertise?
We can re-advertise, but let's do it. First time we did that, we sent letters to all adjacent property owners to make them aware of it. They don't read the legal ads.
No, but I sent it to others too, Judge, and I just never had time to follow up with those others.
Okay.
I had additional people that, and my fault for not following up with them. So.
Okay. But did we
I had
send it to
other
the
interests.
adjacent, because the people who had leased it before were adjacent property
Sure,
owners.
but of course, we're looking at proposals from all of it to some of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good idea, and I'll get that information, Willie, to you.
Okay. Item number 3 is discuss or take action on to approve Martin's Auto Sales quote for repairs to the Sheriff's Office Unit Number 92, 2019 Chevy Tahoe at a cost of $4,907.72 to be paid from $105.60 repair and maintenance vehicles to a line determined by the county auditor. Sheriff, what happened there? Just,
That vehicle was involved in a pursuit with several other units where we had to take a guy out, and he actually hit one of our units head-on intentionally. It was Lieutenant Whipple's Mark Whipple's vehicle. It's still drivable, he's been driving it, looks like a kid's front end of a pole. And quite honestly, we were just getting toward the end of the year budget, and we knew that was still drivable, and we just didn't want to come back and forth and ask for some more money, so we thought, well, we can just wait till after the new budget starts. But good news about the guy, we did catch him and arrest him, put him in jail, and a few weeks later, he bonded out, and he's in another stolen vehicle, and we involved in another pursuit with him. And this time, we didn't tear up anything, but we spiked him pretty good, so we tore up his vehicle, so we evened out. And both times, he had no insurance on the vehicles he was driving, the other one, second one stolen anyways.
oh, they were his, or a stolen vehicle, or,
There were somebody's, his friends,
oh.
quote unquote, those kind of things.
If he keeps that up, his friends are gonna quit loaning him their
Well, you
vehicles.
think that, but those folks, they have to, survive by one stealing too.
Judge, I'd like to point out, I was not driving.
That's a miracle.
But, Sheriff, you have a unit that y'all kind of designate a lot now too, don't you? Just,
Yes, we do. We have one of our Chargers that have the big pit bunkers in front of it. It's parked in a strategic location so we can, if a pursuit does arrive, we can get to it.
that's a good idea.
And they use it to knock somebody off the road.
But you can't always get there, can you, Sheriff?
Sometimes, depending on what part of the county it is, it's a little further away, but it's the majority of them start in the eastern part of Wichita County. So
If somebody's about to get killed, seconds matter.
you just do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
And it's one of the older Chargers that's still running. One of the guys that drove it last chase, he said he don't know if he was more scared of just driving that thing at the speed he was driving, or he said he'd just rather be out on a shootout with two other guys by himself, because the thing was rattling and clanking, and it's just those Chargers after 180,000 miles, they just start falling apart. That's why we don't get them anymore.
yeah.
Economical for some people.
Well, you got people that are way too tall to, once you put them in that, I don't know how you get them out of there.
Yeah, Earl Walton does not look very well getting out of it.
That's who I was thinking about, but I was gonna leave the innocent alone.
Those guys, they're big linemen.
Yeah,
They have to roll out of it.
Motion to approve, Judge.
we got that. All right, okay, thank you. Second out of Commissioner Watts. Okay, any other comments? Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Muller, second by Commissioner Watts to approve item 3 as stated. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 4 is discussion on the phone answering services in courthouse annex. Commissioner Watts.
Yes, Judge, we've had this, ongoing discussion now, Nancy, me and Deb, for, well into a month, and trying to get, our handle on, the problem here. And I've got some numbers I wanted y'all to just, the reason I wanted it discussion, I wanted y'all to think through it, have time to think through it, but I'd talked to a professional group that does the majority of the work, big work in the country, and after about 15 different interviews on different ones, I rested with this group, and it's called Answer Connect is the name of it, and they do a tremendous amount of big work in the USA. But we've got a terrible problem going on here, and that is that nobody wants to answer the phone, and all Debbie's doing is answering the phone. And I've got stuff that she needs to be doing, and she can't, because I can't even call her without calling down here 6 times and trying to luck of the draw to get her on there, because nobody, and Cody, I think Debbie called you Thursday or Friday, and he went and checked the lineup for me, and every single person, Judge, had do not disturb marked on their phone. They don't intend to answer the phone. They don't want to answer the phone. And as long as we're going to have that as a rule of thumb, then I want to hire somebody to answer the phone. And maybe we can run off some of these that don't want to do nothing. That's what I'd do.
Well, I don't know, did you talk to any of the department heads about it? But that's all.
Judge, I've talked to the department heads till I'm blue in the face. I've chewed Nancy up one side and down the other. Her and Joyce don't even answer the phone, and she informs me she spoke to you about it. But let me tell you, that won't work, and I don't like a business that don't answer their phone.
Okay.
It's just poor business.
But one of the alternatives Nancy and I talked about was whether we need more direct lines in. That would go to each department like we used to have, and that would cut that volume. It'd cut down the junk and everything else. And she talked to Ripley, and he said that would not be extremely expensive. I don't know what the answering service
Yes, and that's, Nancy is setting a meeting with IT and with Ripley and me, her and Deb to discuss this, and that was one of the recommendations that Ripley gave me. And he wanted to at least talk through it and make sure that we are all on the same page. We did this in an effort to streamline or modify to some extent some of what was going on, but the problem is, on this kind of deal, like the young man that I spoke to, and he wasn't young, but the fellow at Answer Connect priced me the work off of, because we don't have analytics on this phone. We should, but we don't, because we were bare bones in it, trying to get down to the nitty gritty. But from all indication, we're taking relatively 150 phone calls a day. Based on that, incoming calls, now that's not direct line calls, we don't have a grip on that, but based on the 150 a day and the minutes applied, which most of those are less than 1 minute, that work is $9,000 a month. And so that is roughly the price of 3 people making $32,000 a year answering the phone. And I said, heavens, that's unreal. I can't believe it's that much. He said, I said, I can hire 3 people for that to answer the phone. He said, yeah. How are you going to answer the other 10 calls while those 3 are on the phone? And I said, good point. I understand how that works. And, I'm used to a system that when everybody was on the phone, somebody is in charge of the voicemail coming in, which we have no one in charge of voicemail coming in, and it emailed to a person that was required to return those and keep a stat on those returned calls. And that was what Debbie used to do, work those voicemails, and she had to leave the other people on the phone while she worked the voicemails, and if it was some dilemma going on, and those calls ramped up, it was, ate up a lot of her time to just return calls for that very nature. And we can fix that relatively simple. We just can't answer all our calls if we had 3 full-time people answering the phone based on the 150 general calls that come in, taking less than a minute right now to just roll somebody. So it's just got some moving parts. We want to meet soon. Nancy, do you have that meeting set?
It's going to be sometime in February.
And me, Judge, you and I, Nancy, Debbie, IT, and Ripley. And we'll,
Actually, I think it was set for the 29th. I think Joyce said.
but in the meantime, between now and 20, it's catchers catch can if you call to this courthouse, and I think that's just poor business. And I know it's poor for me, and I think the commissioners need to change. I, for one, have too much for Debbie to do, helping me, that she doesn't have time to answer this phone. So I guess we just let them guess at what they need to do when they call this switchboard and don't know how to call district judge's office. I guess they can just start punching numbers. That's why Lori Bohannon gets numbers right now, because people are sick and tired of trying to figure out what to do, and they just press 1 and get a live person so that can help them. And Lori gets the lion's share of calls being number 1 on the phone because they don't know what else to do.
Okay. Do we have a directory on our website? I thought we did.
Cody, can you speak to that?
Yes, we do.
Okay. The problem is there's not really reliable telephone directories anymore. I think one of them I saw not long ago still had me listed as commissioner, and we did away with that problem a long time ago. But at any rate, but I think the more direct in, getting people aware of that. Nancy, also, did you find the website you looked at was?
I know, I couldn't find it, and I even put out a feeler on our listserv of court assistants, and
Okay.
nobody got back to me.
Okay. Well, they were getting ready for the holiday maybe, but what she found, somebody had on their site, and we could do it for ourselves, but you got to get people to go to the website, and what it does, it lists the kind of things in each office. Eventually, somebody's not going to know what fits where, or they're going to get tired of reading, and they're going to call 8100. And,
Well, it's a difficult deal because of the many variations that go on in this courthouse. This is not like calling an appliance store.
Right.
You either want to talk to somebody about selling you one or somebody about
Sure.
working on yours or maybe paying your bill. But up here, guys, I've been here a long time, and I don't know all the particulars and all the names and everybody it is a very difficult.
That's right.
And somebody calls in and they want to tell you their story about what's happened to their nephew, and you don't know if you need a district judge or, the DA's office or the sheriff's department. I mean,
Right.
this is a tough place to answer the phone for. There's a lot going on.
Sure, and, that's part of why IT did a great job when we set this up, just trying to minimize what we encountered, because people will hang up if you give them the whole list and keep talking 1 through 150 of who to call. Because I don't even want to listen to the 8 plus the extension that I get right now.
Wears you out. And
Yeah.
I've had people tell me that are attorneys and otherwise in the local downtown area, they'll walk over here.
Sure.
Rather than call, because it's so frustrating trying to get a hold of whoever you need. So it's a problem, it's a challenge, and I would be interested to know what other counties are doing to make that better.
yes, sir.
Well, since I've been here longer than any of y'all, we had Nancy this election years ago, it was called Billy.
Called, what was it, Mark?
Billy?
Billy.
Long time operator.
Oh, Billy.
Long-time
Oh,
operator.
well,
We didn't have these problems. Commissioner, I'm not sure about about the information that this guy gave you where he gets his numbers. We had one person took care of all of these problems, and
How many calls were you getting a day then, Mark?
she got calls all day long.
Who answered the phone when she was on the phone?
Billy
My
got
office,
your office.
my office.
But they decided not to anymore?
Clerk's office. No, we did that until it was moved up here. I mean, we still even covered the phones.
Mark,
It's the backup to the phone system.
what we have today is we have a person that answers the phone full-time. Her name is Debbie, not Billy anymore. But when that person's on the phone, there's 5 other people behind them that are supposed to catch the calls as they roll over. Our Cody, which taught this system to himself and understands it well, has fixed that to happen. The problem is we don't have anybody that wants to do that. They've decided, even though that's their job and they've been told to, they're not going to do that. And one of those people work in your office.
You know, it's interesting, Commissioner. You know, you obviously didn't understand the workload that my clerk is under.
I'm not talking about workload. Which time, and maybe help me jog my memory, that you came up here and spoke to me about her being too busy, find someone else, Commissioner. Which time did you do that?
When did you
Mr.
even
Burke?
ask me about my secretary, Commissioner?
I haven't asked you about your secretary until she quit answering the phone. But nobody bothered to tell anybody that she wasn't going to answer the phone. They just quit.
But part of her job justification, when we moved that position full-time to your office, was she would be part of the phone answering team.
And she does, and she's told, when she's not working, doing her work, if she's not working, she's to answer the phone.
Yeah, Mark, she doesn't answer the phone, hadn't answered the phone in 2 months that I've been studying this problem and had Debbie recording every single thing that transfers. She's been on Do Not Disturb, and you cannot get the courthouse to ring to her phone. So don't even go there with me.
I can tell you right now, she doesn't have time. Spend a day in my office, Commissioner.
I'm not arguing that point.
Okay then. Then don't be telling me my secretary's not doing her job.
Okay.
She's
But part
not
of her
doing her job. That's
She is doing
exactly
her
it.
job. She's taking care of my office, which is her primary job.
No, her job, and the judge is absolutely right. We justified her job to you by having her help answer the phones, and just decided to quit doing it.
Because when she worked up front here, she did a lot of your work and answered the phone and occasionally did things for the Commissioners Court. So, I'm just saying, everybody that's on the phone answering system is busy. But we need to have better response out of those, or we need to solve it mechanically or technically solve this problem. And $9,000 a month is
That's a
little high.
I agree with you.
But I think we can do it by,
Now, I totally disagree to that. You got 6 people right now, Judge, what do they make? What do they make a
well,
year?
they've got other jobs that they're doing. But I think we sure need to explore the idea that if we get it where people are direct in, then I think we've got a whole lot better chance of doing that.
How do we publish that number?
Well, we put it on the website. Yes, sir.
On our public website, we have, whenever you go and actually look at the office, each office has a direct number. Most offices have direct numbers, unless there's very few that don't. That's all published on the website, how to get to that person that's directory. I don't think people are using it. The website, I think, they got an old yellow book, yellow pages that they wrote the number in from 1995.
Yeah.
Of how to directly get a hold of somebody. I think that's majority of the problem.
CJ, I think you're right. I think that's exactly.
Or the number's in their phone, an old number.
That's right.
And that's the one you use, because, and there's a lot of times, if I'm driving down the road and need to call to the courthouse and talk to somebody, I don't have the website. I'm not looking at the website. If I'm walking down the street and need to call somebody, I'm not looking at the website, so you don't have that information. You reach in your phone, Wichita County Courthouse.
Sure.
You hit that button,
Sure.
and you don't know what it is.
But
It's just-
my biggest dilemma is being hung out, working, needing immediately hold of Debbie to do some calling for me, and I can't get a hold of nobody.
Sheriff, just to be clear, not that I'd be driving down the road and dialing my cell phone. I wouldn't.
I seen part of it went on.
I'd never do that.
Too late, Barry. You'll be me.
It's already out there.
That was before the change in the law.
I'd like to say this, please, the direct lines we used to have, it really does cut down the call volume, obviously. I know that some of our investigators, they would even forward their county phone to their cell phone, their county cell phone, so they'd still catch those calls that would come in. Because a lot of those calls, like now, we have a direct line to the 8170 main office, then Jamie or Chandler or Dina, whichever one's catching the line, they'll forward it to whoever, but that's because we don't have those direct lines anymore. I had direct lines since 1989, same phone number.
And we still have those, David, we have the capability of putting those back. We just tried to modify it. Your department and Lori's department are not ones that struggle because people know how to call you, because relatively quick on the voicemail, you understand how to get a hold of Lori and how to get a hold of you, or how to get a hold of Patty. But it's everybody else that you don't know what to do on. So,
Well, even in the county employees, if you try to call somebody, there's a lot of them that don't have their voicemail set up on their phone. Or they may have it, but they don't check it when they're full. So it's just kind of frustrating, you
Sure.
gotta try to find somebody else.
sure.
But, that's just
I just know we can do a lot better than what we're doing right now, because this is just not working, period.
No, I agree with that. But I think if we have that meeting, we explore that with Ripley, then if that turns out that's more nominal, we look at number of lines we need to make direct back in. Because even though you can call the tax office direct, I believe, you then go through an assortment, a message and people get impatient. And,
And see
the
what.
world's gone that way. We don't have the Miss Billies or the Lories anymore.
But David, here's what our system is capable of doing, what it used to never could do, and IT can do this. George and Cody Ashley can make it, tweak it such that now those people that you're talking about that get that voicemail on their phone, that they delete all those, they can email directly to you at no cost at all. And you can see on your phone who's trying to get a hold of you. George?
There is a cost to the license to be able to do that.
Certainly.
It's not.
But it's not like minute charges on a cell phone. It's just, yes, we just bare boned it, trying to get where we needed to be and get it digested and get it massaged, and it's still got a lot of massaging to do.
And guys, we could do a lot better job on those recorded message for this, dial that. Good gosh, they drag on for what seems like 5 minutes. It's like watching a dadgum infomercial on
Right.
Facebook. I mean, you could pep that up a little bit and do a
Right.
lot better. It just drives me nuts when I try to listen to one of those, like.
What about whenever you go all the way through it, it doesn't
didn't
give
give
you.
you-
No, that's exactly. But I
And you
mean,
go,
Yeah.
I
here's
think
this
that-
message again.
but, I mean, that's just because these guys have been extremely covered over with Odyssey, and we've had no time to tie the phone system into the website completely and thoroughly, because they're covered up with Odyssey work, and we'll get there. I just don't want to wait till that time comes to at least start moving in a positive direction on this dilemma.
Cody?
Technically, going back to the direct lines, we all have a direct line. Majority of the department heads have direct lines. Majority of the offices have a direct line to the office. And then anybody who doesn't have a direct line, they can call 766-8100 and then the extension and get directly to the person they're trying to get to. I was going somewhere with all of that, and I completely forgot.
You're kind of young for that.
Make something up.
But I think everybody, I mean, it's kind of the way business is going, We can add a new extension or another, dial, push 8 again for another menu, and we can add another menu and add every single office in the county. We can absolutely do that. The problem is that it keeps going on.
That's right.
And when we initially did this, we looked at call volume in each office, and then, the office that had the most
Sure.
calls per office.
Sure.
We put them first on the list.
That's right.
The next office, the next office. But if we, you know, people like, I don't think Indigent Health cares on there, but there's not a lot, I mean, as far as volume that other offices get, and that was back then too, so, you know.
Is this
It
system
was
capable?
strategically done, but
Is this system capable, like so many of them you call and they'll ask you, hey, press the first digit of the number or the name of the office you're trying to reach? Like if you want district clerk, you push DC and it's, all right, you've selected district clerk. If this is correct, press 1. Can we do that?
initially when it was first proposed, I believe it had the original phone system had a piece where you could dial the, you know, first 3 letters of somebody's name.
Yeah.
And get to the person you were trying to get to. But.
A lot of people don't know.
We don't know the names,
All
but
that back
the
negotiation.
offices.
Yeah,
so-
and, but it's the same concept. I think,
Yeah.
CJ, we could add that back
I
probably.
think that would help instead of those
That would be a
endless
way
menus.
peripherally, yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
I have difficulty with it. First Bank has that option. And like Randy Catlin, for one, I've tried to call before hours and I get that system marked and I'll put CAT in or RAN, can't find him for nothing.
Really?
No, and I get so
Because
frustrated.
he's not in there. He's
Yeah, I
hiding.
think that he's not in there, I'm doing it wrong, or don't have something, and I just get, you know, worked up over it, trying to get a hold of him. So they're not infallible, but, I mean, we do have that, we can discuss and see how that
Yeah.
would be, because like Mark said, if you put CO and pull up all the county clerk or county court at law, or at least had the options, press 1 for county clerk, press 2 for county court at law, or whatever, I think that's,
It'd be better than listening to those
Maybe,
endless
yeah.
menus. If that's a possibility.
It'd be better if they could just say, district clerk's office, please. One moment, please, we'll connect you.
At that point, we just need to hire a full-time operator.
Exactly.
Maybe a full-time operator and a
There,
backup.
there is
You know,
nothing
go back to that.
better than having a person answer the phone and help you get to where you need to be. There's nothing better than that.
I mean, yeah, but that's, you know, that's Wichita County mindset too, you know, a lot of people are, that's the way we used to do it.
Well, I'm wondering if we had a
Go
thing,
down to-
I'm sorry. If you call in and it says for directory listing, I'd say a pretty high percentage of people are on a smartphone that call in. They could go to the website and have that directory.
Yeah, and our website has it, every office.
Yeah.
Go and click on the department, I mean, I can pull it up right here for you.
Yeah, now some of them don't know what they want
Yeah.
or where it is.
And the offices have descriptions, you know, most offices have descriptions of what they do on the webpage.
Okay, very good.
There's a world of knowledge out there. People don't,
But you've got to be less than lazy.
it's not we no longer have, you know, 20 people working for the courthouse where you can call up and say, hey, you know, I need to speak to Joe Bob.
right.
Oh, hang on, let me get.
But it's,
Right.
Yeah.
And, but I want to commend CJ and George for giving him the time to understand. He understands our system better than the Ripley Tate understands our system because he taught it to himself. And I think that's tremendous, and he understands the capabilities and the facets of all that it'll do. We just haven't gave him the tools he needs to help keep cranking it better and making it better, and that's what I want us to move towards.
I think we all agree
Okay.
the system's not where we want it to be.
Right.
So
And I think that meeting, when did Nancy find that meeting's going to be?
January 28th.
January 28th. So that's a, okay, that's great.
Okay, what time? Oh, that's all right, never mind. It's on my calendar on my
I think
bed.
it's 1:30 or 2.
Yeah, okay. All right, we beat that dog enough?
Yes.
All right, item 5, discuss and take action on assignment of department liaisons and other committees. You got a copy of the list, and it's a little outdated, but I didn't know if you all had, Commissioner Watts, you asked to have this on here, if you had any particular ones to.
Can we just, we typically do this, I guess, in January of each year. Can we run down through and make sure we balance the way we want to be?
Okay. Right now, the auditor is Commissioner Watts and me. Building maintenance
Who's
is,
primary?
okay, I'll read the primary's name first. I am Jeff's alternate.
This is not the most current list.
No, okay,
Yeah.
but we don't have most current list right now, so let's go with this list. Thank you.
This is a little like our phone directory.
We have, yeah, okay. Building maintenance is Commissioner Beecham and Commissioner Watts.
Now,
Downtown.
where are you at, Judge? Because I show Barry Mahler and Jeff Watts.
Well,
We're
that's,
changing.
Okay.
What we know is right.
What we know is right, yeah.
that was.
That
the old-
changed a while back.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
Downtown jail is Commissioner Mahler and Commissioner Watts, and quite honestly, that's really been, for the most part, Commissioner Mahler and me.
yeah, and of course, Mark helps out because of building maintenance too.
Yeah.
He's also involved in that.
Yeah, and there was an issue about the jail medical, which we
Yeah.
are heavily involved in with indigent health, that I may want to
It kind of interacts
Be-
with several.
So,
more
okay,
involved in that, so.
put me as the primary and then you as the alternate?
Downtown jail is where we're at, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going with Woody?
yeah. Okay, Sprague Annex, move you to primary and me as alternate. Mark? Is that right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, the
Okay.
swamp right there? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, it should be, tell me that one again, Judge.
Move Commissioner Beecham to primary on the Sprague Annex
Okay,
and me as the alternate.
okay.
Did you say me or Lee?
Me, WG. Okay, precinct 5.
Yes, sir. I'm showing Lee as primary judge and me as secondary. I want to be primary and Lee secondary as we transition through this timeframe
Okay.
of Lee's.
All right. Precinct 1 is each of the commissioners for all precincts, and then me as the
Yeah.
alternate. The county clerk, I'm primary and Commissioner Mahler is alternate.
Judge,
That's,
Yes.
you missed CMO. Or will that be BMO now?
Where's
Well,
Woody?
Where is that? I don't see it on my list.
I
It's
don't
on
either.
the current one.
I don't have it on the list.
No.
That is the judge and I'm the secondary. The judge is the primary, but
And
it's
that's-
not really called that
No,
anymore.
that's the judicial justice court coordinator.
Hey, on this county clerk one,
Yeah.
I wanna be the primary on that.
Judge is the primary, I'm the secondary.
yeah. Well, county clerk, I've been doing a lot with elections and I'll be doing a lot with redistricting, so.
So who's primary?
What was the thought there? I didn't catch that.
I've done an awful lot with elections and gonna be doing a lot with the redistricting.
So you want to be the primary?
No, alternate.
Either, alternate would be fine.
And Lee, you want to be the
No,
primary?
no.
Oh.
Lee's doing that to get a rise out
Oh,
of
it's just a little fun, having a little good time there.
The primary is Judge Gossam.
Yeah.
The secondary is
Mark.
Okay.
Why do we not carry any at the county court, Judge?
They operate pretty independently.
But I mean, there are reasons a lot of times to visit.
I think that's the way they want it, the way we have it right there.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, they can talk to us at any time, but
Yeah. I kind of got that feeling we've gone a while without having it, and we haven't had a problem.
They do
Okay.
talk
Yeah.
to us when they need
Sure.
something, so.
Okay, county extension is Commissioner Watts primary, Commissioner Mahler secondary.
that's good.
we don't supervise the court administrator's office. That's done by the administrative judge in the district courts. Criminal district attorney, Commissioner Beecham, and then me as the alternate.
So wait a minute,
Yeah,
court administrator, just
we
draw a line
don't do
to
that.
it.
Yeah, draw a line to it. Okay,
Was that Mitzi's office?
yes.
Okay, gotcha.
But now that office is under the district judges. We changed that the first of
Yes.
last year.
Yes, sir. Okay, criminal district attorney, Commissioner Beecham, primary, me as the alternate. District clerk, I'm primary, Commissioner Watts is the alternate.
I think that's Barry, Judge,
Okay,
now, alternate. Barry.
District clerk,
District clerk.
yeah, I'm gonna be the alternate.
okay.
Yeah, that was-
We don't have anyone assigned to the district courts. Emergency management is me as primary, Commissioner Harvey is the alternate. Juvenile justice is covered by the juvenile board there, so we don't have anybody. I serve on that. Health district, that's one meeting a quarter, is it, something, or a month?
Every
maybe?
other month.
Month, yeah,
That's Wichita Falls / Wichita County, right, Health
yeah,
District.
right. Human resources, right now, actually Commissioner Beecham has been the primary and I'm the alternate in the way we've worked.
I think that needs to be Commissioner Harvey or Commissioner Mahler, and Judge, you need to be second.
I'm fine with the way it is right now.
Yeah, Mark, I do not like the way it is right now. I'll be very clear about that. So I suggest that we make Commissioner Mahler or Commissioner Harvey over that department, with the judge being the alternate.
How do you two feel about that? I mean, that's,
Well, I think it's gonna take, a lot of time, and, not really have that right now.
So let's make Commissioner Mahler the primary and the judge secondary.
That's fine with me, I'm not.
What's the reason for the change?
Sometimes change is good.
and it's not that's why we go through these, and we hadn't gone through them in a while, and, you know, it's to rotate around, but, you know,
Can I ask what the reason would be for the change? Because out of the other commissioners and people that we've had over the office, honestly, the way that we have it right now, that's the most support that office has had in the 8 years I've worked for Wichita County.
Do you need me to put that in the form of a motion, Judge?
if, to get it off high center.
Yeah, so I would move that Commissioner Mahler be the primary and the judge be the secondary.
And really, the primary function of all these is actually in the budget process.
Well,
That's when I mean, it's more than that, but that's when most of the interaction takes place.
it's more than that. There are so many issues. It's time consuming. It's not like a lot of the other liaisons.
That was my point. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do that right now.
And
We've done extensive work with the HR manual, just about to get it wrapped up. I don't know what's gone wrong that can be cited, the reason why I'd be pulled off of that. Has HR office missed anything with me being over it? Have we in some way failed to respond to anything, or has anybody not gotten hired?
let me ask this, is there a second to that motion?
Well, I'm neutral in the deal.
I am too.
I'll do whatever y'all need me to do.
Why don't you all talk that offline.
Why don't we
and come
table
back.
that
Yeah.
for now, and let's talk about that a little bit.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Thanks, sir. Okay, we're down to Human Services / Indigent Healthcare, Commissioner Beecham and me. I suggest that stay the same.
And let me point out, and Mark, part of my reason, you are consumed, you are literally consumed with the jail project that still has. We have not had any indigent health care discussions. We haven't moved to the prescription project. You have no time right now to do this type thing, and that's all the more reason I think you do a fantastic job staying on top of a $70 million bond issue that we've got going, and we want you to do that, but at the same time, not at the detriment of any of the other departments.
Well, in Human Services, the bigger reason why that hasn't been pursued is because I haven't had assistance with the district attorney's office with all the changes, so.
Well, I would suggest we change that one as well, and
Well, there's a big learning here, and Commissioner Beecham serves on the state committee that deals with tobacco proceeds and that distribution for indigent health care.
we're chewing him up is what we're doing. And we've got, the sheriff's dependent on it, we're dependent on it as commissioners, and he's got more than he say grace over right now. And we're extremely pleased with our construction and our work that we're getting accomplished, but a man can only do so much. And this is a very complicated, complex department.
Mark, is there something that you would like someone else to take over? Is there something that you want to help with?
Well, y'all, public defender and district attorney.
I'll take public defender and the district attorney, the primary on both.
You know,
Woody?
I put a considerable
Judge,
amount of
you'll be
time and effort on both of those
secretary?
departments.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the
Yeah,
district
and the
attorney.
district attorney.
District
Okay.
attorney is where?
I'm not finding
It's
that.
alphabetical order, criminal district
Okay,
attorney.
I see, for a C. I was looking for a D.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay, we're down to sheriff.
Judge, would you have a problem that if I was a primary on that and leave Commissioner Mueller as the backup and let you
On what?
Let me be the backup.
be the backup?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
On
Commissioner, is that a problem with you?
That's not a problem with me. I enjoy working with them, but I'll continue to work with them. It's just, once again, we all work with all these departments. so
Sure, yeah.
This is just
Well,
the contact, basically, is what it amounts to.
well, but it's also kind of the things when they have ideas, they want to bring something forward, they need to have a
Somebody.
point of contact instead of trying to talk, guess who? It just helps with continuity.
Right.
And as we talked in the budget process, the people assigned can meet separately of those meetings that I will be having with them, and hopefully prior to that meeting, so the input's there.
Well, that's kind of the way we did it last year, and it worked pretty
Yes, sir.
well, that initial
Yeah.
round.
Well, except it took too long.
Well, it did, but
Yeah.
we were, I mean, it's a,
Yeah,
On the tax assessor collector, I would like to take the primary and leave Lee the secondary just simply because of his,
what's going on?
what's going on right now. We work good together, but Tommy depends on Lee a lot of times, and I'll take that role if you don't mind, Tommy. And
Okay. We're down to treasurer. Right now it's Harvey and Watts.
Judge, would you have a problem to take Lee's place as primary there?
No, sir. Okay, Veteran Service Officer, I'm primary and Mahler's secondary, and that has worked well.
Looks fine to me.
Nortex Regional Planning, Commissioner Beecham has been my backup on that and has made the meetings. I don't, those are once a month. That's really not a real time consuming one, it's just the time there.
No, the judge is primary and
Treasurer?
on the
Yeah.
treasurer, yes.
Okay. Red River Water, it's Watson Harvey.
Yes,
Water Region B, Watson Harvey.
yes.
Wichita County Rural VFW, Harvey and Beecham.
I think Jeff's done a lot more work with the volunteer fire departments than I
Okay.
have. So.
I'll be secondary then.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Bail Bond Board, Barry's been my alternate for that. I don't think I've,
You do such a good job though, Judge. The secondary doesn't get called on a lot. You cover these well, so, and that's a good thing.
the only thing, in having you, I know you could put that in writing that you're my designated alternate, then
Yeah.
you can count for a quorum
If you, that
Yeah.
misses a meeting,
Yeah.
we're always laid back up.
when someone else can't be there and ask somebody to sit in. They can count towards quorum, but they can't vote if they're not an elected official.
Okay, that's fine, that's not a problem.
The MPO, I would like it to stay exactly the same if we can. We're too dependent on Mark there, and I feel like that I can use Mark. I also serve on the MPO.
Yeah.
And I could use Mark as a proxy if I ever had to
Yeah.
as well, Judge.
Yes, sir. And he might be familiar with that.
Yeah.
Just a little.
You think?
Okay.
I'd suggest we leave SMAC as it is.
All right, sir. Adult probation. Jeff, you finished your probation over there, haven't you?
Yes, yes. But I would leave those as they stand. And down through records management. The 4-H association's working well
Yeah.
as it is.
Yes.
I can't read the third one from the bottom.
LEPC.
Not law enforcement, Local Emergency Planning Committee.
Okay, and that's good.
That works.
We get notice of their meetings, and I make about one a year.
And I go to the senior citizens still, AAA.
Yeah.
But you're on the local board over there, so that works. And am I doing Humane Society now?
Yeah, you are. They moved into your district.
So
Yeah.
primary is Barry
Yeah,
and secondary is Jeff.
It's in my precinct.
Yeah. They just need their road fixed every now
Yeah.
and then.
I don't see anybody on this list to look after Delynn Davidson, but we had,
I'll be
I'm sorry.
primary.
Yeah, there it is.
Nancy, add to that list that Justice Court Coordinator.
It did,
Okay.
and it is you and Commissioner Watts.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Then let's go ahead and take action on that, and you all will talk about HR and come back on it. Otherwise, it'll stay as it is for right now.
Motion to approve as designated.
Second.
Any other discussion or comment?
It's my understanding that, what are we doing? Commissioner Harvey's being taken off these committees, or?
Some of them, yes.
Just, we're moving them around.
Commissioner Harvey will go out of office in November because someone else will be elected. Because while he was under the deal where it was an automatic resignation, he's not replaced until I replace him. But what does happen to him, same thing happened when I ran for county judge, and I was an incumbent commissioner at the time, had 2 years left. Joe Miller and others ran and took that office in November, which, that's the way that works. So the Republican Party and the Democratic Party and the Green and the Tea Party's not a recognized one, but they can nominate people to be voted on in the general election in November. So that's where that change is gonna happen no matter what.
When does that take place, Judge?
November, right as soon as we canvass
when
it.
does
I mean,
the
when do they set
appointment-
When do they set the?
Are not the.
Well, they're gonna do the appointment of whoever they're gonna nominate in June.
So it would occur after the runoff.
Yes, sir.
So if Commissioner Harvey was not successful in that other campaign, he could also be the nominee.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Which would, to me, make sense.
We were unclear about the timeline.
Yeah.
And so that's good.
Well, yeah, the timeline had me concerned because of the tremendous possibility of
Right.
runoff. And,
Yeah.
Don't they run simultaneously?
Who run?
District 13 and county commissioner?
So,
Well,
Don't both vote on both of you?
no, he's in the off year. Precincts 1 and 3 run with the president,
Yeah, I'm good to go now.
and 2, 4, the county judge.
We're up right now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm with
Yeah.
you. I'm with you.
Lori, when
Well, I would
are,
respectfully ask for either Barry or Mark for one or the other, because you two guys have voted against me every request I've had since 2015. So, I mean, I don't mind going to the Ford's Theater, but I appreciate you putting it on.
maybe if you explained it to us better, Lucy, we might support you, but.
But Bob, we like you.
You know, I'd like to at least have my chance.
Okay.
All right, I'll certainly.
I make a motion that Bob Hampton have a fighting chance. That's not on the agenda, I'm sorry.
Well, okay, let's just do this, that'll last through the end of the year, let's just leave Hardy there, and I'll step back and, put my pistol away, and,
Oh, yeah, as a department head, I'd rather have you and Lee.
you got it. That's what we're gonna do.
okay. You gonna be primary or alternate?
I'll be primary.
And for the record, just note that Bob Hampton got his way. So
Yeah, well, we haven't voted, yet. We have not voted
I
yet.
ain't got my way since 2014.
Yeah.
Your day's coming.
Judge is secondary, right?
No,
Yes.
no, my day's not coming. I'm telling you, the handwriting is on the wall.
Okay, Lee Harvey's primary, I'm secondary on treasurer. Okay. Does that change your drill with, commissioners, you all made the Muller and Watts, you all made the,
Yes.
Yes, that's fine.
okay,
That's
all
fine.
right. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say aye. Aye. No, I'm teasing with you, but I'm for it. I just wanted to keep the record straight. All right. Okay. Commissioner Beecham, update on law enforcement Amoresco projects.
Yeah, Judge, big thing happening on the law enforcement project is we do have a new project manager supposed to be on site this week. Sorry, I have not met him yet, do not know his name, but,
He replaced Glenn Wells.
Glenn Wells decided that he was better served staying home with his newborn, so he resigned from Yates, but he's still remains on as a consultant to the project.
Now, what kind of man puts his family first?
A good man.
A
He
good
was a
man.
good
Time we
man.
like.
There you go.
He was,
Sometimes it's not all about money.
And his family's in Louisiana.
Yeah.
so he was driving back and forth every week, and he's got a newborn baby that should be his priority,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not our law enforcement center, so. They assure me that the new guy that will be on the project this week is every bit as good as Glenn was, so. What's that, our fourth project
Yeah.
manager since we started? So, but other than that, the project is moving along. The other big thing is we were scheduled to start putting in sales, but after visiting with all the subcontractors and Cornerstone, who is our detention equipment contractor, there were some other steps that would actually speed up the process if they delayed installing the sales for a few weeks.
Yeah, makes
So,
sense.
other steps, fireproofing, et cetera, that they could get in before they started stacking the cells, so they wouldn't have to be working around them, so,
Recovered them,
yeah.
keep them.
Yeah,
stuff all
so,
over 'em, yeah.
it's just a coordination change is all, but, I know I'd said several times that we'd be putting in sales this week, and it's just, that's the reason why we're not. It'll actually speed up the project,
And Mark, are we able to get something booked, to meet?
yeah, whenever we're ready, y'all just let me know a date that y'all wanna go out there.
Okay, why don't I have Debbie get for everybody coordinated, and we'll do that, and that all 5 of us are free, and we can go and take the tour or the update or whatever.
I still need to figure out exactly how
How to post that and do
Post
that,
that.
because we cannot open that to the public. Because everybody have to go through the safety thing. That's where we may have,
We can ask John and Molly to look at that.
Well,
Molly's looking at it, so,
Yeah.
but as far as with the project, that they've said anytime we're ready, we can go out there. We just need
but you might look at, while they're doing all that interior stuff, there's some days that we don't want to disrupt, like they're spraying on the fire and insulation and that kind of stuff.
When they're doing that fireproofing,
Yeah.
they plastic that off and you can't go in there.
Yeah.
We just skip that area, so.
Might be more interesting to see it when there are some cells in place, you know, that, okay, whatever y'all come up with,
Pick one out.
But if it's a big deal, let's just go to it in time.
yeah.
That's true.
Well, there's still some issues with that too, so, but.
Go. It's a tour.
I know. You know that, I know that, but,
We're not doing county
Gilligan's Island
business.
was a 3-hour tour and it was a disaster too, so.
But in order not to have that as your permanent residence, we need to go down the road.
yeah,
Well, I mean, you think about it, you can overthink anything.
No, I know.
Absolutely.
But we wanna make sure we're doing it right.
you can underthink anything also, and it costs more.
Well,
If I'm gonna be in that jail, I'm gonna be in it for more than taking you through it, taking you on a tour through it, so.
we all sit at the same table at the MLK breakfast. We sit at the same table at the leadership breakfast. We do
And
things
the
together
public
all
is
the time.
all around that, yeah. It's-
So, but
Oh, that's-
I've asked Molly last week to look into it, and so, as far as Amoresco project, we are nearing completion. We've got over a few hurdles over the last week with the old new chiller, which was not
Yeah.
actually part of the Amoresco project, but it definitely affected building balance when that chiller was not operational.
So Mark, have you looked at an electric bill?
I have not.
We need to do that. We need to see, we know we're paying $45,000 a month.
Well, we have that on a spreadsheet, Lee, and, Curtis is able to show you the sheet and how it tracks in relation to the last year, same time frame.
I'd like to see that.
They've come down quite a bit.
Thousands of dollars?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's good.
That's real good.
So,
And finally getting where it works well, too. It's been
Yeah.
a struggle,
Yeah,
but
there was-
we're getting there.
there was a problem on 3 over the weekend, but we lost a driver, which caused the system not to work, but they got that fixed first thing this morning, so the temperatures were a little off on 3.
So the computer system that operates the entire building,
Yep.
we haven't, good luck with that.
Thus far, I mean, yeah, it's still being adjusted on daily.
Oh, it is?
So, yeah.
Okay.
But that's why I asked all the offices for input as to what's going on in their office, so we can make sure we've got everybody comfortable before Amoresco walks away. Or as comfortable as can be, we're not
But
gonna
we
please
need-
everybody.
We need to know how to change the atmosphere in an office. I mean, we need to be able to operate that computer system, we don't need to be calling Amoresco to come back here and change.
No, building maintenance has been trained on how to operate that system, so they can go in and look at the temperatures in each individual office from the computer, make changes as necessary. Thermostatic controls, although they look like they have a big range on the thermostats within the office, you only have a 5-degree swing.
Yeah.
So it's plus or minus 2 degrees on either side.
So that thermostat on the wall back there, does it work?
It works, but it doesn't, it's not calibrated the same, we'll put it that way. The numbers on the dial are meaningless.
Okay,
If you turn it up, it'll get warmer, if you turn it down, it'll get cooler, but it's only a 5-degree swing.
okay.
But like last week, for instance, Debbie was very hot, there was real hot air coming out of the vent on top above her desk. Went down to building maintenance, and within minutes, the temperature started coming down, so we went from 80-degree air to 72-degree air in a matter of a minute or so.
Mark, did you get the work Curtis did for us the other day? Did I flip that to you? Me and you met about the signs. Did Curtis
Oh, yeah,
then
yes,
put
yes.
that together?
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you
Yeah.
had that.
Yeah, I was surprised it was lower than we had calculated.
Yeah, and I didn't, Curtis, did you remember, what is that number?
It was, right at 35,000. I think a little more than 35,000.
And it seemed to hold true year over year, roughly around
That
that
was-
number?
I didn't compare the 2 years.
That was 2 years combined, though.
That was 18 and 19
Yeah.
combined, yeah.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
What we spend on traffic signs collectively,
Oh,
yeah.
We had a young man visit with us, and me and Mark set a meeting just to kind of brainstorm, is there a better, smarter way to,
buy in bulk?
yeah, and to manage that process?
Well, we now have people out in our precinct, we've lost about 5 in the last several weeks. They're taking a Sawzall and cutting the poles off.
Oh, my heavens.
Really?
We got them stopped from taking the signs off the poles, and we got that corrected. And now they are taking the people that took Sawzall and just cut it off, and,
They're pushing them over. the front
are
of the
pushing them over, yeah.
Then cut them off the top.
And what people don't understand, if you're driving down the road and you're not familiar with it, and there's a stop sign missing, you can kill somebody, I mean, very quickly.
Yeah, some people realize, if you see somebody has those in their garage, or,
Yeah, pay
you
attention.
let us know, we can go back and seize them, just like the construction signs, the state signs, they all belong to somebody.
Yeah.
You can't just go down there and buy one.
And we're marking all of ours now on the back, the date they're put up, the precinct that they're from, and all that, so they would be easy to identify if they're out there, but.
On a quasi-related question, since we're talking street signs, Love Road, I can't keep street name
No, I
signs
wouldn't
up out
think
there.
so.
Gentlemen, we need to move into a closed session. We got, we can come back and talk after that, but we've got.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and forego the county officials and elected official staff reports. Give those now. Let's move into closed session. Briefing and discussion with Wichita County District Attorney's Office to hire Lynn Davidson of Davidson Rusley LLP as outside legal counsel to address issues arising from the contract with Tyler Technologies. Meeting is closed pursuant to the Texas Government Code. So it's now 10:20, and I'd like for us to go into closed session and clear the courtroom other than those.
Are you ready? She said go.
It's 3:03, and we're back into session. Having finished in closed session at 10:56, during that session, we received a proposal to engage Davidson Rusley to perform legal services for us to deal with review of our Tyler Technologies contract.
You ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll make the motion that we hire D-Lynn Davidson as counsel to help represent us on this matter.
We're actually hiring the firm. They're both names are in
Hiring
it.
the firm.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Okay.
I think that will give us a better line of communication in this deal and move us down the road.
Okay.
Got a better feeling
Yeah, I did talk to Delenn, and she said, do not wave that in their nose, give her a chance to get everything together, give us a chance to work it and brief her, but, because I'm gonna call Ken and say, here's some more things. Today in the jail medical meeting, came up with a deal that's worked 2 days. And they are now having to manually track prisoners and move them, adjust when they are sent to another location to keep up with them so they can find them for medical stuff. It's forward.
The bottom line to this, and what I'm hoping for, is this will open up our line of communication, we'll move forward, get a bunch of stuff settled, because from day one, we never wanted to litigate anything.
No.
We want to operate it.
Yeah.
We want it to work, and that's the goal, and I think she will be able to portray that early on, and that's what we're trying to get the thing going.
Yeah. But,
And we desperately need it.
and I'm not interested in fault, I'm interested in solutions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Okay. Anything you all need to report that's going on?
Yes, I'd like to just brief y'all where I'm at, on our tremendous project, which is unreal. Did I tell y'all about the watermarks?
No?
So.
Well, now, is that the ones that fell out in the river and got cold, or was
No,
that?
that was Brogdon Road where we changed
Oh.
the culvert. Those were water snakes.
These are full-blown water moccasins.
Biology, I've loved biology all my life. In college, I excelled in it. And so Mr. Casper, Tim Casper, my biology teacher in 10th grade, says in Wichita County, it is not conducive why we don't have water moccasins in Wichita County, because the pH of the soil and the pH of the water is such that they will not thrive here. And so I always was glad, because I'm mortified and won't even ride the inner tube down the river of watching Lonesome Dove, because I had Joe Howard and Debbie had a family friends in South Texas that were at the lake skiing. The high school boy skis into a ball and bites him over 100 times, kills him.
Yeah.
And I've never, I just am mortified of it. Well, we're getting about, two-thirds of the way down the creek, and Landon drags some out of the deal, hit with Levi's backhoe, hits the one and chops him bad, and the second one, it's so cold, he is ruined. White mouse, black snakes that I'm convinced are water moccasins. I told Landon, put them in a bag and put them in the freezer. I'm taking them to Parks and Wildlife, because and when I was a sophomore in high school, no deer in this country either.
Yeah.
Not around.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm concerned that that's what they are.
Well, and the theory on the pH of the water, Jeff, the pH of the water varies greatly from system to system. The pH of that irrigation water coming down that deal, whole lot different than the pH of the water in Lake Wichita or anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the theory on that, but it varies widely and would vary season to season.
Well,
as a matter of
he
fact.
also told my buddy Brent Catlin that you'd never have to worry that a girl can't get pregnant on the second round. Well, Brent disproved that theory. So I knew we were already wobbling to begin with.
Well, you just never know what those teachers are going to take. When I had that famous head-on car wreck of mine, as I see that guy closing in microseconds, my mind,
Thought about that many times.
my mind flashed back to Mr. Clark in high school physics, and we were talking about momentum and and he said if two cars hit head on, I said, well, which should you be in? He said, be in the bigger one. And I said to him, what if you're not in the bigger one? He said, be in a faster one. There were no skid marks behind my car.
Wow. You ever been playing football and be running along and one of them little sawed-off son of a guns will hit you and knock you smooth on your...
Joe Rodriguez.
Yeah. There's one of them, young deal. And I mean, knock you, make your eyes cross, and that's the speed versus mass.
Are y'all still,
Yes, ma'am.
We're in open.
We're in open.
oh,
We've approved the contract.
We're
I've already
wide
signed
open,
it.
yes,
as a matter
I
of
got
fact.
that.
Okay.
We're having a long discussion on water mosquitoes, so.
So you only found 2 snakes?
Only two. Now,
That's
we
all
don't
it takes.
know- We don't know what he hit that pulled him up. We never identified a den.
Oh.
They come out of the hole, is what they come out of there that they were wintered up in. And, so we hadn't found them, but,
But you know they're there, so be careful.
yeah.
Yeah. What did you need, Molly?
Oh, I was just gonna talk to Commissioner Watts after he
Oh.
does
Well, one night at Fort Hood, we came into the shower point, and just as we're gathering up our stuff, go in and shower, and towels and stuff, the sergeant in charge of the washroom said, "Sir, you don't want to go take a shower right now." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Well, the water resupply truck hadn't shown up, and I'm getting ready to hit the lights and leave." He said, "'Cause they're going to be out of water in just a minute." And so we go down to the Leon River and drive up to a low water crossing and got the lights shining, and both of us get out there in the water, and all of a sudden I went, "Holy cow." And here comes a water moccasin right across. She's got her head up. She is coming. We're into her territory. So we traded off chunking rocks at her because we knew we shouldn't be shooting at her. And so one of us kept chunking, the other one. Yeah, yeah. So I have full respect for the water moccasins.
Well, they can be very aggressive too.
Yeah, yeah,
All right,
yeah.
going back to your accident, I wasn't a good physics student. Why be in the faster car?
Because you gain more momentum.
And that protects you?
Well, it could.
You could.
Somehow I didn't die in
I
that.
mean, it protected you, obviously.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember, in that split second from the time you realize you're gonna have a crash, your rate of acceleration is so slow, you're not gonna gain a tremendous amount.
But he didn't touch his brake.
I didn't touch.
That's the main thing.
That would've made it
Yeah,
worse.
That would've made it worse.
That
But-
would have made it worse if you would have slammed down your brakes.
Could have, because then I wouldn't have been
It's
going.
like this, would you
Unless
rather
that would've
hit somebody or get hit?
That's back to the
So
old
you're
football
saying
analogy.
like you're moving, not only the car is moving, but you're moving
Yeah.
too.
Well, yeah, hopefully together.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, well, I had a seatbelt on, but,
Yeah.
yeah. But it still took them 45 minutes to cut me out of that car.
Yeah,
I had to jack the motor off my right leg, but that car started doing what it was designed to do. It started crumbling. It was the ambulance driver measured it the next day. He had some report he had felt. It was 17 inches shorter than,
If you look under the hood of your vehicle along the inside front fenders, most of them, they're in different places and different formulations. You'll see little crevices in that thing that are rolled in there with a bead roller. Actually, when they press the metal out, it presses that in there. And those are designed to collapse. In other words, it's not one sheet of steel.
It's a shock absorber.
It folds. In other words, it'll fold like that, and that absorbs that energy, and it's built into the front end of every automobile in some fashion. If you know what you're looking for, you'll see them, and that's where it folds when you get hit, and that absorbs the energy, so you don't catch the energy. It absorbs it before it gets to you. And,
Yeah.
The old vehicles didn't have that, and another thing they didn't have was collapsible steering column. There was a tremendous number of people killed back in the 40s and 50s. The steering column would
oh, yeah, you'd impale on it,
crush
yeah.
your chest. And that would do it. Now they'll collapse.
They collapse and the airbag beats the hell out of you, yeah.
And airbags have been a major safety
Yeah.
innovation for automobiles, because that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, that car was pre-airbag. It was an
You
89.
know, you didn't have airbags, but, yeah, that car's built to fold up under impact.
Okay, anything else to share before we shut this down?
Well, I do.
Yes, sir.
Last Saturday, we had the Martin Luther King prayer breakfast at the Impact Center. Colonel Bell is an outstanding speaker. He did a really good job. Kudos to that. And then, that very night, we had the Workmanette Chamber banquet, and our superintendent of schools, Tyler Chapman, was named Citizen of the Year for Workmanette. And our Business of the Year was Don Hardy Holmes.
Oh, he's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
Yeah.
He's my Sunday school teacher.
Boy, he's got a burden.
Owl Park's banquet is on the 25th, I believe, isn't that right?
That'd be bad, because that's
Yeah.
the Pancake Festival.
That's a pancake thing, yeah.
So I leave out, Thursday, late in the night, to go to Fort Worth. And so we'll,
Y'all check in in the wee hours.
and Judge, I won't be back Monday because
No,
they
you-
don't release us now. They changed that and they make you stay
Yeah.
the night.
Okay. Are you here that Monday, and you're here? Okay.
I'm not going anywhere until, we're going to DC in March. Which hopefully then I'll get to visit with Sonny Perdue some, because we couldn't do it because he introduced the president in
No.
Austin.
I-
And he wasn't when the president's there, nobody's available to the public, basically.
Yeah.
Because they're screened off in a room.
So, I meant to tell y'all this story, and we just run out of time. Last night, come in, and I spoke to Molly when I was gone, but, so, there's a young man by the name of Watson, flies and sits beside me on the plane coming home at Shepherd from, New Orleans, and the family grew up there, from there, and going to Shepherd Air Force Base just as a student. And then there was a young man, tall, slender, from Maryland, just transferred in full gear last night. So I told Mr. Watson, when me and Ray loaded up, had a terrible time with our luggage and it's lost, wasn't nothing there. Didn't know it was all home when I got there, but nevertheless, I tell Mr. Watson, don't stand here waiting, it's cold. Just, I'll run y'all to the base right quick, it's just right here. So that young man that was waiting at the door, he was trying to figure out how he was getting to the base. And I said, if you'll hop in, we'll drop you at the base, I'm taking Mr. Watson here. And so, now both of them about this big around, you know. And I pull up to the hospital gate, it's locked. And so I don't know, I've never been in the other gate since they fixed it, the front gate. But I go on down,
Front
they
gate's not
said the
open.
next gate past the hospital, will you take us in there?
Yeah, Bissell Road Gate.
So I pull up there and the fella at the gate comes out and he says, you know, what are you doing? I said, I'm delivering these young men to their dorm. They just flew in. He said, well, do you have ID? Yes, sir, I do. Here's the ID. And I said, he said, well, this is as far as you can go. These young men are gonna walk from here. And I said, no, sir, that's not gonna happen. And he was like, I said, you got a pickup right here, says security. Can y'all not run them to their dorm? Because they're dragging luggage and everything else. Well, no, we can't drive that pickup there. I said, he said, pull here in the center lane. So I come through the gate, pull in the center lane, put my pickup in park. And he said, these boys are gonna have to walk from this point right here across the base to get to their dormitory. I said, no, sir, that ain't gonna happen. I'm a commissioner in Wichita County, and my next phone call is to the county judge. And his phone, he's not gonna like me calling him at 9 o'clock at night. But I'm gonna ask him to call the general, and I want the general to come here and tell me why these young men can't be taken to their dormitory. And do you think that he's gonna appreciate coming down here at 9 o'clock after he gets off the phone with the judge? No. I said, am I being clear? He said, crystal.
Did he let you take them?
Don't you think for 1 second
So how'd
that
you
I'm
get
not
out of
gonna
that?
check?
How'd you get out of the bridge?
I said, don't you think that I'm not gonna check in the morning, that I drive off and you make these young men walk, cause I'm following up on this deal. And he said, yes, sir. And I turned around and I wasn't gonna, I mean, that was ridiculous. I said, there is $9 billion worth of airplanes on this bus, and you're telling me there ain't nobody to.
Okay, what you need to do, you can get, because of your position, you can get an ID card that will let you take them on there.
Yeah.
So do that,
It's a VIP pass, and it's good 24/7 unless they're in a lockdown.
yeah,
Well, we all ought to have one, really.
yeah.
I've had one for years.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So
Well, 'cause
we
you're
had a good-
responsible.
We had a good Republican Women's meeting yesterday. We've got Crime Stoppers coming up, Thursday at, 6 o'clock. I think our speaker's gonna be Pat Fallon at that,
At Crime Stoppers?
at Crime Stoppers.
Okay.
Then we got, Oh, that'd be next week, but Tuesday the 28th, we got Leadership Wichita Falls.
Are we doing a table at the Republican Women's Function are you
Now,
doing that?
well, you're not gonna be there. Jeff, did you wanna do a table? Now, sponsorship is $1,000. A table is, well, yeah, but you told Debbie sponsorship. If we're gonna do a table, it's 500 for 8.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So, you know, I don't know where Mark is. I don't mind doing 100 and, you know.
And I don't imagine Sherry.
Well, I meant by a table is what
Okay,
So we can take some
yeah,
others.
yeah.
And, Friday, 31st, we got the Shepherd Awards Banquet. It's gonna be in hangar number 4, at Airport Base. Happy hour starts at 5.
Well, I won't be here Friday. Molly and I will be coming back from Austin, hopefully, finishing the mediation with Wells Fargo.
What's the mediation of Wells Fargo?
That's the lawsuit we have against them on that bank location. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to miss, Commissioners Court Monday the 10th of February.
Okay.
So all y'all please be here.
I'll be here. You got a pretty busy book there, Mr. Harvey.
Oh, man, you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're holding somebody that doesn't have a lot of time up while we're doing all this beat. Okay. Very easy.
I'm just gonna mention one thing, one of the things we talked about in our board meeting
I'm listening to you.
just
Just a
last
second.
week. This legislative session is closer than everybody thinks.
Yes.
And water is gonna be a major topic this year, and I visited with some of the Water Development Board guys that were there. They always have a rep at our meeting, and I told them we would like to talk to them about this flood mitigation deal where that they have some kind of an option on. I don't understand the whole deal, because just like the project
Yeah.
you're working on, Jeff, I said, we've got numerous of those smaller flood control projects, and we have no agency that's equipped to handle it. And I said, we would like to at least open the discussion of how we can get some, and we can't be by ourselves. I mean, there's gotta be other people.
Yeah.
Lee, there's your topic to talk on,
That's
what
right.
Larry's saying right here.
That's right, and I
Water.
said, we would love, before the legislative session, to get together and try to come up with some ideas as to how we might, you know, I said, even if we have to start just with planning, in other words, come in and do the plan, like NRCS does, something similar to that. I said, I understand going out and funding all this stuff would be run. I said, I'd love it if we could, and maybe we can, but start with the planning, the engineering of it. We need an agency in the state of Texas that will take that on, so I just wanted to throw it out there.
Okay.
That's a very good.
We're gonna be talking more about it over the next month or two, but I'm telling you, there'll be bills being filed.
And who's that with?
Well, that's, Water Development Board.
Yeah.
And see, they've got expanded authority. In fact, we expanded their authority in that, in the voting this last time to bond other projects.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if they're the ones, but we need to have that discussion. We really do.
Okay. Two other quick things. There's going to be a roast of Janice Sons
saw
on
that.
February 29th. Do you all want to get a table for that? I've been asked to be a roaster and sponsor it. No, February the 29th.
Give us just a little bit.
Yeah, I'll get it, but just trying to get it in early. The other thing is,
Probably we would, but
we have got to be conscious of is deals like Mark Brewer asking you for a sign here. Early voting starts February 18th, and there can be no campaigning. And we got to remind people of that and be careful. All right, anything else?
As long as I don't campaign, I'll be all right. Them idiots out there, you can't control them.
No. Okay, it's 3:24 PM, and we are adjourned.